Picture this. You finish work, uni, or whatever fills your day. You close your laptop, you leave the building, and somewhere on the way home, there's this feeling where you think to yourself, tonight I want to do something. Maybe you finally want to start that thing that you've been putting off for so long. Maybe you just want to go for a walk, cook something. I just feel like a human being that is not only working all the time again. And then you get home. And the first thing, of course, before you even take off your shoes is, of course, to grab your phone. You scroll for a minute, just to decompress, of course, just to switch off. And then you look up and it's 11 p.m. and you haven't eaten a proper meal yet. You haven't done any of the things you thought about on the commute, and tomorrow you're going to do the exact same thing. I'm not judging this. I've done this myself many times and it sucks. But I want to show you something because there's a number, and the first time I thought about it, it was really scary. So you have 24 hours in a day. You sleep hopefully around 8 of them. You maybe work 8 more. That leaves 8 hours a day. That sounds okay. 8 hours, that's a lot of time. But then you subtract the morning. Getting up, getting ready, commute in, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then the commute home. And then the kind of decompression time that you need before your brain actually works again. Suddenly, you're not looking at 8 hours anymore. You're looking at somewhere between like 2 or 5 hours on a good day. That is truly yours. 2, 3 to 5 hours. That's it. That's your life on a weekday. That's the window in which everything else in your life has to happen. Rest, connection, creativity, joy, maintenance, all of it. The weekends exist and holidays exist, but if you zoom out and look at the year in total, then the average person spends around 250 days of it in this exact cycle. 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. That is, if you add it all up, 1,250 hours a year that are actually yours. And if you spend most of these hours in like this kind of brain rot state on your phone, I don't say this as criticism because it's something that I recognize myself, and this is not really living, isn't it? That's coping somehow, and those are two very different things. And this video isn't a productivity plan. I'm not going to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m. and build a morning routine and optimize all of your time blocks. Although you can, of course, do this, and it definitely helps maybe a bit. I don't think that this is the answer here. And what I do want to talk about is something way simpler. It's about how to stop surviving your evenings and actually be present in them. There's a 3-part structure I think about when I'm planning my evenings, and it goes like this: recover, automate, enjoy. Let's get into it. So the first mistake most people make when they get home is that they try to immediately transition into doing things. You've just spent 8 hours in some form of output, meetings, tasks, decisions, conversations, information, lectures, whatever it is, and your brain is genuinely empty. It's depleted. You're not lazy, you're just depleted. You gotta charge your batteries. And when you don't give it a real recovery period, it reaches for the easiest possible thing, that is passive scrolling, passive consumption, the path of least resistance. The problem isn't that you want to rest after work or uni or whatever, because rest is correct, rest is necessary. And here's what actually works. When you get home, that signals to your brain work is over. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It can be as simple as changing your clothes, washing your face, making something to eat. It's just a transition, a simple, small physical act that marks the boundary between the work part of your day and the rest of it. And if you work from home, this matters even more, because the boundary doesn't exist naturally. You might need to go for a short walk, even 10 minutes, just to simulate the thing your brain expects: a commute, a threshold, a shift. Some people close their laptop and go to a different room. Some people change their lighting, and it can be almost anything, as long as it is consistent and it means something to you. And this is actually important. Rest. Not scroll rest. Not YouTube in the background while you're half thinking about something else rest. I mean real rest. Eat something, watch one episode of something you're actually really enjoying, and not just what autoplay served you. Read or just lie down for 20 minutes with no screens at all. The goal of this isn't to be productive, it is to truly get some rest so that your batteries are a little bit charged up again, so you can tackle your evening the right way, and you don't feel that depleted and like brain foggy and dizzy and lazy, and where you just want to scroll and consume brain rot content on the internet, but where you actually like recharge and want to do something in the evening. One thing I'd specifically suggest avoiding: don't start doom scrolling in this time, as I said. It feels like rest, but it's passive. It doesn't actually restore you. You end up more stimulated and less satisfied than when you started. Real rest tends to feel slightly boring at first, but that's the signal that it's working. So give yourself an hour, maybe 90 minutes if you had a really hard day. Just decompress, very much relax and rest. Because that's not wasted time where you should do thousands of things. That's a real investment into your health and into your evening, so to speak. And everything else that follows builds up on this. So part 2, automate. You have maybe 3 to 5 hours of your own time every weekday evening. And a significant chunk of those hours, for most people, gets absorbed by maintenance. The invisible labor of just keeping your life running. So if you're not rich and have something to do it for you, then you gotta cook something. You have to do cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, preparing for tomorrow. All of it is necessary and none of it is like energizing fun, so to speak. The goal here isn't to eliminate these things, it's to compress them, to do them in a way that takes up as little of your precious evening time as possible, so that the remaining hours can be used for something that actually matters to you. So here's just a few things that I've been doing recently that I think I like phenomenal, and they save you so much time, and maybe there's something for you as well. So first, batch cooking. This is probably one of the ones with the highest return on your investment in this list. Every time you cook something, cook way more than you need. Double it, triple it, quadruple it, and then store it. It sounds so obvious, but the shift in behavior is so significant because you go from cooking every single night to cooking maybe twice a week, once a week, and the rest of the time you're just reheating something that's already made. That's 45 minutes back in your evening consistently, every single day. And then you can have, like, for example, a fixed cleaning schedule. It doesn't have to be deep clean every day, like a short routine, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes before bed. This kind of keeps things from accumulating to the point where you need a full hour on a Saturday to recover and to clean. Because if you can maintain your tidiness and if things are like kind of okay during the week, then you don't have to put that much effort in on weekends or in the evening. So just do a little bit here and there. This is one YouTuber, I forgot his name. He always says, whenever you want to put something down, don't put it down, put it away. That's the mantra. And a real life hack here is to like literally automate things. I have a robot vacuum cleaner. I just love this thing. I call him Boris. I don't know why. There was like a movie character called Boris. I just call him Boris. It's my vacuum cleaner. And Boris does a great job. He vacuum cleans every day, maybe twice. He mops the floor. It is generally, I hate vacuum cleaning and this thing is just phenomenal. On the one hand, I don't want more robots in my home and I'm kind of afraid of an iRobot situation somehow. But for example, automatic window cleaners would be great. Whatever it is. An automatic laundry machine would be great as well. But for these things, as long as there are no robots yet, you're really well served if you just have like a clear schedule, as I said, that you know, like every evening, a little bit for laundry, a little bit for whatever it is, and you tackle like tiny tasks. You have a fixed list to tick off and then you're basically good to go. Then grocery delivery or pickup. I think this is such a smart move. If it's available to you and it's financially like okay, then this is a phenomenal option. In many cities, you can nowadays like get your groceries delivered. It maybe costs a premium. In lots of German supermarkets, you can nowadays pick groceries up and you can just like prepare everything in the app and then say when you're going to pick it up. And they basically collect everything and you just have to take the basket and to pay and to leave. It doesn't cost a world, or sometimes it's even free, and saves you like an hour every single time. Same goes for grocery delivery if this is possible. And in many of these apps, or you could do this on paper as well, of course, you can save like, for example, a standardized grocery list that you buy every single time. And this saves just so much mental fatigue and mental brain power that you could use otherwise, where like grocery shopping just becomes something almost automatic. And I think this is a really cool approach. And last but not least, you're gonna have a preparation ritual for tomorrow. Because this one maybe takes like 10 to 15 minutes, but quietly like eliminates this significant source of morning stress. After you did everything in the household, you cooked, you cleaned everything, you did like errands and stuff like that, just quickly prepare everything for tomorrow, 50 minutes maybe, and get your clothes out, make bag ready, and anything you need to remember, you can maybe already write down. And if you can do this consistently, you can reclaim mental energy you didn't even realize you were spending. The underlying principle is here. All of these maintenance and household and errand things that you have to do every single day, for example, if you don't think about it, they will take up such an enormous amount of time and maybe waste all your evening just to kind of like do those basic maintenance things. And if you're able to compress them in like, for example, an hour, you get home, you do your resting, and after that, like 1 hour, you tackle everything for the next day and for like your life to run basically, then you will have the whole evening free to do things that you actually want to do. And this is part 3, enjoy. This is the part most productivity content skips. It talks about optimizing your time, building systems, eliminating waste. And this is basically what we discussed previously here. And then most productivity gurus assume that if you do all of that, you'll naturally fill the space with something meaningful. But that's not how it works. So a lot of people actually get to this point and they don't really know what they should do with their free time, because they've been like coping with screen time, for example, for such a long time, or been busy for such a long time with like trivial tasks. And then you have the occasional hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, to have like free time to do something. Then many people don't even know what they should do. And they just like turn on the TV instead, which can be fine, no judgment here, but they just have no clue what they actually want to do in that free time. Because they spend so long just coping, just getting through the days, that the question, what would I actually enjoy right now, doesn't have an obvious answer anymore. So I want to suggest something kind of unusual, that is plan in advance. What do I mean by that? I don't mean like in a really hardcore scheduled way, but just what are the things that when you do them, leave you feeling more like yourself, more energized, having fun basically, not more productive, not more optimized, more like yourself. For some, it's specific kind of cooking. I love making pizza. That's like literally, it's one of my favorite hobbies, just to make pizza and make it again from scratch. So I don't mean like functional cooking, but really rather cooking as a creative act. And for some, it's like going somewhere, taking a walk, a run, a coffee with someone, or like eating out. For many people, it's just spending time with other people. And it is up to you what you do in your free time every evening. And the best advice is just do something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be ambitious. Just fill your days, fill your free hours with stuff that is actually worth your time, that you enjoy and will make you feel better. And one thing that I find really helpful is that you've been like productive all day. You've been working, you've been commuting, you've been resting, you've been preparing everything, you've been like doing your errand things. Do something that you enjoy. Do something with your free time that you're kind of proud of. And if you don't know what you should do, then I would recommend, for example, opening a calendar and plan for like 2 months in ahead. This is not about creating a plan for the next 2 months. Most people fall into the trap when they think about tomorrow, for example, then they kind of feel this low-key stress and this, I don't have the energy for that, I'm a little bit too stressed, and there are just too many emotions in your everyday life that where you kind of, your creativity to plan cool things kind of like just evaporates. But when you open a calendar and like go into 2 months or 2 years or so, and you kind of visualize what would my ideal evening look like, then you're suddenly way more creative. You would say something, for example, I want to check out a new restaurant, I want to go on a visit the neighboring city, whatever it is. I want to go on a bike trip, even though it's middle of the night. You get way more creative when you think in advance. And when you made those creative plans, you can just move them to tomorrow, for example, and like use this creativity hack to improve your evenings. So, and that's my whole system. Recover properly, automate and batch all the errands that you have to do as quickly as you can in as little time as possible, and then use your free hours to do something that you genuinely enjoy, to have really an awesome evening. And don't just live in order to work, but also live in order to live. If you know what I'm saying. That's the whole system. It's not really complicated. And the hard part, I think, is like believing that your evenings are worth protecting in the first place. Not having enough time is something that many people feel nowadays. And I made this video right here about how to make time for everything important in your life and actually stick to it. So I'm sure you like this video right here as well. Besides that, thank you as always so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.